Good evening, everyone. I am Advocate Vikas Garg, founder and CEO of LawUpdates.in. I would like to welcome you all in today's session. Today, we have with us Advocate Abhishek Upadhyay, Director and Senior Legal Counsel at Advocate Upadhyay and Associates, who is practicing at Bombay High Court. He is experienced legal professional with expertise in handling matters related to prevention of sexual harassment and cyber law. He has trained more than 25,000 corporate professionals and more than 7,000 executives of nodal authorities on topics like POSH, cybersecurity, Indian Penal Code, and criminal law. He will be taking today's session on the topic cybersecurity and its legal framework. I have a small announcement for all the attendees that they can post their questions in the YouTube live chat, which will be taken up by the sir in the end of this session. Now, without wasting more time, I invite Advocate Abhishek Upadhyay sir to start today's session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vikas, for the warm introduction and a very good evening to all the viewers of this today's webinar. Today, we would be discussing one of the few interesting topics, which is cyber security, cyber frauds, and scams. First of all, your attendance has definitely made me more positive, and I would like to say that I hope that in the next 40 to 45 odd minutes, I am able to take you through the various facets of cybercrime and also educate you about how to save yourself from the dark clutches of the internet. So this is the first time that we are actually collaborating with LawUpdates, and let me tell you that they have given me a very warm welcome, and I'm really touched by their hospitality, and I am more touched that students who are going to be the future lawyers or the future lawmakers in this country, they have taken up the time to come and understand that what is cyber security and what are cyber frauds and scams. Before we go ahead and start this session, I would like to discuss some very few interesting statistics. Everybody knows that the population of India is 130 crores. But there are not more than 5,000 cyber security trained professionals in India. When I talk about the number of cyber security trained professionals, the ratio tells me that somewhere there is one cyber security professional for more than 10 lakh people. So when we have such alarming ratio, what can be done to first of all go ahead and prevent all these crimes from happening? Let me tell you that awareness and sensitization about cybersecurity and cyber crimes is the first step towards it. It should start with the public in general, because the public is the custodian of their own data. But this awareness and sensitization should not be restricted only towards the public, but it should also be given to the judiciary and to the police mechanism as well, because they are into the investigation part. Now, you may want to ask me that why the sensitization is, why this threefold or a three-dimensional approach is necessary. So first I said that it should be from the side of the public, because as I said, public is the custodian of their own data. As you put a very strong lock to all your physical assets, it is also necessary to put a very strong lock on all your digital assets. And hence awareness and sensitization from the side of the public becomes important. Now you may also want to ask me that why the judiciary needs to be made aware and sensitized. They are the lawmakers, and they take the decisions or they pass judgments during court cases and litigation matters. But friends, also let me tell you that the Information Technology Act was enacted in the year 2000. And in the last 20 years, the technology has grown leaps and bounds. Now, even while investigating, matters, clients come up to me and tell me that once we go to the police station, they ask us questions like, "अरे पासवर्ड आपने दिया क्या? OTP आपने ही दिया क्या? और अगर आपने ही दिया है तो फ्रॉड क्या हो गया? क्योंकि सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन तो आपने दिया है." So that is why even police need to be made aware and sensitized about matters related to cyber securities and various modus operandis that the cyber fraudsters undertake to defraud a particular person. When there will be a threefold approach in terms of creating an awareness in terms of the public, the judiciary, and the investigation agencies, which is the police in this case, then we can definitely say that we are inching one step closer to become a cyber safe and cyber secure nation. Now, as we dig deeper into the topic of cyber security, let me make some few assumptions. So, my first assumption is that everyone in this forum has a mobile phone. Secondly, everyone has an email address. Thirdly, everyone is using Facebook and WhatsApp. And lastly, everyone or maybe majority of them are using Truecaller as an application. Now, all these assumptions might sound very stupid or irrelevant to you. But let me tell you that these assumptions hold a great value or hold great importance or relevance to me. Being into the cyber investigation and the cyber law field, my experience tells me that there are certain softwares available on the internet wherein even without you inserting your SIM card, a phone call can be generated from your number. Even without you inserting your SIM card, a text message can be generated using your number. I hope the kind of point that I'm trying to make here is clear. Now let us talk about my third assumption that everyone is also on Facebook. You can always send if you have any comments, you can always put them up in the live comments about the questions that I'm asking you. So coming back to the point, I'm sure that most of the people have are using WhatsApp. Facebook. Friends, how many of you have actually uploaded your own profile picture on Facebook? You can answer in the live comments, of course. My assumption says that most of us in this particular session have uploaded their their own profile picture on Facebook. Friends, let me tell you that this is the most riskiest thing that you have ever done, because all the functionalities like cut, copy, paste, screenshot and save, print screen and save are available and enabled by Facebook. So God forbid tomorrow if a fraudster steals your profile picture and uses it to commit a fraud, it would be you who would be called in the police station for the purpose of investigation. And friends, let me tell you that this is a very cumbersome and very troublesome process. I hope again that I'm not trying to create an atmosphere of fear, but it is my moral duty as a cyber professional and a citizen of India to help you understand that what is the real situation. Talking more about Facebook, let me ask you this question: if there are any lawyers in this forum, how many lawyers have actually read the terms and conditions of Facebook? Let me tell you that if you have read the terms and conditions of Facebook, it clearly states that you are responsible for the information that you upload on Facebook. Secondly, it also talks about obligating you towards sharing all the true information about you. So the kind of point that I'm trying to make here is that whatever data or whatever information that you upload on all these platforms, you should be well aware about the information, and you should not be divulging much of your personal details on all these public platforms, because these platforms are gathering data. And one of the terms and conditions of Facebook also states that they may be sharing this data with their third party providers if the need may be. Talking about Facebook, I would like to discuss a very interesting case that I handled. This happened few years back when I was delivering a webinar, a seminar on cyber security in one of the colleges. After my webinar got over, one particular student came up to me and he said that, "Sir, I am in need of your help." Unfortunately, I did not have time to talk to him about the problem that he was facing or discuss his issue. So what I did is I gave him my phone number and I told him to give me a call the next day. He tried calling me 2 3 times, but unfortunately, even at that point of time, I was in a meeting. But since he was calling me frequently, I understood that this matter is of great importance. I called that boy to my office in the evening. I could see, looking at the boy's face, he had dark circles under his eyes. He was looking distressed. His body language was telling me that something is emotionally bothering him. I asked him that, what is the issue that you are facing? That is when he started crying and he said that, "Sir, I'm not being able to attend the college." I said, "What is the reason? You might lose an entire year." But that is the point when he actually confessed that is being extorted or blackmailed into giving 20,000 rupees every month to a girl. And in order to give that 20,000 rupees, he's working in a call center doing night shifts. I understood the gravity of the situation and I took up this matter on moral grounds. After I started to investigate the matter, after I conducted some forensics on the Facebook account, we understood that this particular account is being accessed from somewhere in the vicinity of the college hostel. So we got our first clue that this particular account is some belongs to someone who's a part of this college. I further tried to understand or investigate by talking or understanding the circumstances that went into making that girl extort that particular boy. So he told me that he received this friend request from from this unknown girl, and they became friends and they started chatting, and the chats went became more personal or more intimate. And later on, the girl started threatening the boy or blackmailing the boy that she would send a copy of these messages, these personal messages, on the email of the dean of this college. The boy was extremely terrified and he thought that his life is gone for a toss. So the first part of the investigation again revealed that, okay, this particular ID, Facebook ID of that alleged girl has been accessed from somewhere in the vicinity of this college or the hostel. Friends, when we did dig deeper on where we when we conducted some more forensics on the account, to our shock, we found out that this particular account is not been operated by any girl, but to our surprise, it is one of the boys who's sharing the same hostel and the room with him. So during the course of conversation, he used to ask all his personal details, get his details, and he used to, portray that in the disguise of the girl, he used to chat with this particular person. And when the chats went intimate, he tried to threaten this boy into paying him 20,000 rupees every month. Like looking at the tender age of the boy, we did not pursue this matter further. But let me tell you, if the matter would have gone to the respective investigating department, the boy's career would have been in trouble. Friends, let me tell you that let Facebook boast the best security measures on your account, but for a hacker to hack into your information is merely a 20 to 25 minutes job. Friends, how many of you have actually, uploaded your famous cricketer or the famous film star or any celebrity that you follow on the internet? Have you uploaded the profile picture of any of these people as your own profile picture? Please give in your comments in the live comment section so that I understand. So if someone has actually done that, let me tell you that under the Information Technology Act, which is popularly known as the cyber law in India, you have committed some sort of an identity theft. 3 years imprisonment. I don't want to discuss this thing further, because without the explicit permission of that particular person, if you are uploading his photo on your profile picture, then that is something that comes into the gambit of identity theft under section 66C of the Information Technology Act. Friends, let me tell you that in my career I have seen that 76% of the crimes are happening by using Facebook as a platform, and 53% of them are actually happening with women. The cyber crimes, 53% of them are happening with women. I can see that Pooja is saying no, Sandeep is saying no, and Shreya Rai is saying no. So good, you have not uploaded it. But if you had any time or someone else has, then they have definitely committed you can say a fraud under the gambit of identity theft. Now let us talk about my fourth assumption about WhatsApp. If you read the terms and conditions of WhatsApp, it clearly states that it only transmits the information from the sender to the receiver. But friends, in lot of investigations, we have revealed that a copy of the information or copy of the chats are being saved or stored on the servers of WhatsApp. Second thing that I would like to say, that I have seen or I know people who actually share sensitive information like passwords. They indulge into activities like sexting. But let me tell you, all the copies are somewhere stored and monitored. Friends, again, I'm not trying to create an atmosphere of fear here, but again, you have to be aware about the real scenario that is happening in this world. My fifth question or my fifth assumption was about Truecaller. I am sure majority of the people in this webinar are using Truecaller. Friends, let us try to understand that what is the motive of Truecaller as an application. The motive, to simply put this, the motive of Truecaller is actually to give you information about a person who's not in your contact list, isn't it? At some point of time it gives you the name of the person. At some point of time it gives you the service provider using which he's calling you from. At some point of time it also gives you the location of that particular person. How well are we as a society, aware about, how does Truecaller deal with our sensitive information? First of all, how many of you are aware that the servers of Truecaller are not located in India? They are located in a country in Europe by the name of Sweden. And if my memory is not wrong, in the year 2014, the database of 10 lakh Indians was compromised. And as we speak, the number, I'm sure, must have maybe tripled by now. Friends, the kind of point that I'm trying to make here is not that you should not be using technology. You should be using technology, because the main motive of technology was was to make your life more simpler. But as every sword has two sides, every coin has two sides, and even with the positive sides of the technology, there are also some negative sides towards it. Hence, the only thing that keeps you safe is your awareness and your sensitization. Friends, are you even aware that if you're using a Gmail account or a Gmail ID or even any email ID for that matter, even without knowing your password, a email can be generated using that particular email account. Such softwares are freely available. Talking about applications like Truecaller, if you go ahead and read the terms and conditions, it will clearly state that Truecaller does not take any security measures for the data that is being uploaded, and on the other hand, it makes an obligation on you that you have to put in your correct information, but there is no mention of the security or the privacy or the measures that they will take to protect our data in case of any fraud happens. If you read the internet, I am sure that you must be aware about companies like Adobe, losing database of 153 million users. Sony PlayStation has lost a database of 77 million. So when you see all these things happening, the first thing that always comes into your mind is how to go ahead and protect and save yourself from such dark clutches of the internet. I would like to discuss a very interesting case study of a police officer. He was a very celebrated or a very famous police IPS officer in India. One day he calls me in the evening and he tells me that, sir, my account is actually been created under a fictitious by a fictitious person, and that account has more than 5,000 followers. And even some of my batchmates, some of the IPS officers, IAS officers that I know are actually following that particular profile, and I have not created this profile. After investigating the matter, we came to know that this profile has been uploaded or been operated, I would say, by a college going student. I hope the kind of point I'm trying to make here is very clear. Now you might want to ask me, okay, that what are the different kind of cyber frauds that are happening today? So let us start with the most commonly known as frauds as the banking frauds. So what happens in a banking fraud is generally someone, in an unauthorized manner, like the fraudster in an unauthorized manner, siphons off money from your bank account, uses your debit card, uses your credit card, and siphons off the money without your consent. All these fraud come into the foray of banking fraud. Other kind of frauds would be the e-commerce frauds. In order to help you explain what are e-commerce frauds, let me give you an example that actually happened with me. So me and my friends were going out for dinner, and one of my friend was continuously chatting on WhatsApp. So we just teased him, saying that what are you talking to someone important, some girl that you're not interested in your friends, and you're not chatting with us, and you're more busy on the phone. So that's when he told me that I'm selling my car, and I've put the car on one particular e-commerce website, and someone has liked the car so much that they have actually that person is saying that I will send you some advance money. I immediately understood that there is something wrong in this particular deal, because being into the cyber fraud and cyber investigation for such a long time, I understand that what are the fraudsters trying to capitalize on. As the cyber fraudster is understanding your psychology, even in the investigation we try to understand what is the psychology of a cyber fraudster. And in most of the cases, the cyber fraudster tries to capitalize on the basic human emotion of greed. They give you offers that are too good to be true, and in this case that I'm discussing right now, the same thing clicked to me, that this offer is too good to be true. How can someone send money for a thing that he has not even seen with his eyes? So I immediately told him that if my knowledge is correct, that person would have asked you to click on a link, because I'm aware that there are certain softwares that are available that you, without even giving out your password or your OTI or your OTP or your PIN for your digital wallets, even just by clicking on that link, the money will be siphoned off from your account. I immediately told him to tell this person to give him a call. Now just look at the audacity of this fraudster. He even had the guts to call him to prove his genuineness. He called him, spoke to him, and I took over the call. I said that it's really good that you have liked my car, and I'm great that you are also willing to purchase it. So why don't you, instead of sending me this link, why don't I give you my account details and you transfer the money into that account? Let me tell you, immediately, friends, the call got disconnected, and when we tried to call back, the person never answered. So, selling things that are not in existence, offering to buy things by giving them an advanced amount, or selling things that are not in existence. Like I have handled cases wherein people have been sold, premium cars when the car actually did not exist. So all these kind of frauds come into the foray of e-commerce frauds. Then there are job portal frauds, wherein you would be offered jobs, lucrative jobs in foreign countries. One of my clients has lost an exorbitant amount of 2 crore 78 lakhs. He was being approached on one of the job portal platforms, saying that he has been offered job in Australia, and they sent him the invitation letter, they sent him the appointment letter. After sending the appointment letter, they also started sending him some payment links under the guise of making payment for the visa authorities, for the immigration clearance, for the to the custom officials. And till the time he understood this, he was defrauded to the tune of 2 crores 78 lakhs. The fraudsters, why, the kind of point that I'm trying to make here is how due diligence plays a very important part. If the kind of due diligence or investigation that he did after losing the 2 crore and 78 lakh rupees, this due diligence should have been done at the first part, when the link for sending the first rupee was sent to him. It is of no use after losing so much money and then calling the authorities to check if they are really authentic or not. That is why, friends, I say, because see, as I said, that the cyber fraudsters, they, any crime happens after studying the psychology as a part is a very important element in committing any sort of fraud. And in most of the cyber frauds, if you see that the cyber fraudsters are trying to capitalize on the human emotion of greed. They will give you offers that are too good to be true. They will tell you, you have won this lottery, you have won this particular prize. Click on this link and you will receive the prize. They understand that a person is greedy, but you should also understand that there are no free lunches in this world, and everything comes with a price. You might be lucky, but do not ride your luck every time. Your security or your awareness or your sensitization will definitely take you one step closer towards being cyber secure and cyber safe. Now you might want to also ask me that what are the legal provisions using which the judiciary is trying to protect or trying to punish the fraudsters. So, as we discussed, that the Information Technology Act is a 20-year-old act. The last amendment came in the year 2008, which is again 12 years old. Just see the amount of advancement in technology. In the year 2000 or even in the year 2008, there were not many online transactions, or there were not many applications like phone pay or google pay wherein you could make digital payments for purchasing a particular thing. So the technology has increased or advanced in leaps and bounds. The act is actually not very competitive to basically go ahead and address this complex issues. Even if you see, like in cases like the job fraud case that I was discussing with you, two Nigerians were caught by the police in this particular matter. You would be surprised what one of the Nigerians said. He said that I'm the offense for the punishment is around about 3 years. He says that instead of saying staying in Nigeria as a country, I'm very happy to spend 3 years of my time in the jail, because after 3 years the money was never returned to the court, and he will spend the jail time and come out. He says that it's better to stay in Nigeria. I'll prefer to stay in the Indian jail. So do you understand what is the psychology or what is the mentality of the cyber fraudsters when they are committing this fraud? Another thing that definitely comes into my that I feel that I should be discussing this with you is most of the punishments for frauds that are enlisted in the Information Technology Act. Most of these frauds are, or most of the punishments for that are bailable, and most of them are they don't have a fine of more than 1 lakh rupees. So even if a person is fraudster is caught, getting bail becomes very easy for him. Now, as we dig deeper, I would like to tell you that what are the acts or what are the important sections to look out in the Information Technology Act. So section 65 starts with tampering or altering the source of altering the source code of a computer system or a program. Now, forgetting the technical jargons that are used, if I want to explain this thing in very simple words, is by I'll give you a very good example. So one of my clients, he owns a very big IT company in India. Most of his clients are actually from the United States of America. So one morning I receive a call from this particular person that every 2 days when some person tries to log on to my website, it gets redirected to a pornographic site. Now, he also told me that since most of his business is coming from US, he's facing a lot of bad reputation or bad image, because when clients or when people who are trying to log into his website, they are getting directed to a porn site, and this is causing a huge reputation damage and a huge damage to his brand identity online. When we started doing the investigations, we found out that this server was accessed by you know one of the ex employees who was terminated by this particular employer, and as a revenge he gained access to that particular server, and that is how he started redirecting the website to a pornographic site. This person was immediately arrested and the case is still pending. This is an offense under section 65 of the Information Technology Act, altering or modifying the source code of any computer system. So if you are trying to access or trying to copy any information, any technical information related to the software, you are punishable under the gambit of this particular offense. Then there was section 66A, which was scrapped in the year 2015 by the Supreme Court of India. That particular section stated that if you are sending offensive messages to anyone, then you are punishable under this particular act. But Supreme Court was of the opinion that what may be offensive to one person might not be offensive to the other one, and hence this act was this particular section was scrapped. Then, as we discussed, the first case study wherein a boy was actually being extorted or blackmailed, for giving 20,000 rupees every month. This is a classic example of what we call as identity theft. Anyone stealing personally identifiable information, means your Aadhaar card, PAN card, mobile number, your email address, your bank account numbers, what else, all your personally your PAN card details, everything comes into the punishment for identity theft. These are your virtual or these are your identities which is considered to be personally identifiable information. Then there are sections that talk about cheating by personation. So again, to explain this, I will like to share a very interesting case study. One of my clients was staying in Canada for her job purposes. So while staying in she completed her assignment and she came back to India. After coming back to India, some person pretending to be a citizen of Canada and the owner or a director of a very big company in Canada approached her on Facebook. Again, Facebook is my favorite, by the way. So they approached this particular lady on Facebook. She thought that she might be some mutual friend, he might be some mutual friend, and they started conversing with each other. A good friendship developed between them again, and the person said that I'm coming to meet you in India. My client was very thrilled. She was very happy that a friend is coming to meet her from Canada, and that particular person told that okay, I'll be reaching India on this particular date. One day before that particular date, this person calls her and tells her that due to some important work commitments, he has to cancel the plan and he won't be coming. And as an apology or for not coming and keeping his promise, he would like to send her some gift. After 2 days, the woman receives a call from a courier company saying that your gift has arrived in Delhi airport and now you have to pay the custom clearance or the immigration charges. This lady asked how much will be the charges. They said that the amount of the gift is running into crores, so the immigration or the custom clearance charges would run into lakhs. Under the guise of various charges, that woman was made to pay 11 lakh rupees. And once again, after paying the money, she started the investigating whether this courier company actually existed or not. And to her surprise, she found out that such courier company never existed. When I went ahead and saw the profile, I immediately understood that this is a fake profile that has been created. Now, since I discussed this case study with you, I will also, at the end of the session, tell you how to identify primarily if a account is fake or not. But coming back to the important provisions, again, this is a classic example of cheating by personation. There are provisions that talk about punishments for cyber terrorism, as the word suggests that anyone who's trying to undertake any terrorist activities using their internet or online identity shall be punishable under this particular section. Then there is a very important section that talks about child pornography. Anyone indulging or sharing or displaying photographs related to child pornography shall be punished under this particular section. Fortunately, this section was added because if you see, child pornography is a big racket around the world. United Kingdom has the largest number of pedophiles. Pedophiles are people who like to commit sexual offenses with children or minors. I hope the kind of point that I'm trying to make here is well understood. I hope I'm not trying to create an atmosphere of fear here, but these are the kind of things that are, going on in the market. If you see the Indian Penal Code, you will see there are punishments for distributing sexually explicit materials. But there is no provision that stops you from viewing a pornographic website. So these are some of the lacunas because the acts are not tuned in terms of the advancement of technology. Few very important tips that I would like to give you in case if a cyber fraud incident happens with you. For example, let us say that money has been siphoned off from your bank account. The first thing that you do is you call up the grievance cell of that particular bank. You tell them that an unauthorized transaction has taken place and the account should be blocked or suspended. One very important thing is please do not forget to take a token number or an acknowledgement number of this particular complaint and make sure that this complaint is made within the first 3 days. The acknowledgement number will stand as a legal proof that you have made an official complaint with the bank. So if they cause any delay in suspending your account after that, you can recover that money from the bank because somewhere then it becomes the onus of the bank that even after giving you an acknowledgement, they have not suspended your account. Secondly, immediately make a complaint in the respective cyber cell or the local police station. In the complaint, attach all the facts and circumstances or write down all the facts and circumstances. Write down the date, write down the time when the money was siphoned off, write down the name of the person if he called you and sent you any link, mention the link and mention the entire modus operandi in the time in the form of a story, as in when he called, what did he say, what did he make you do, which link he sent you, and how the money was siphoned off. Or if there is an unauthorized transaction, what time you got a SMS saying that the money has been siphoned off. Please put in all this information in your complaint. because friends, police are also equally busy, because they are also receiving lot of complaints. So somewhere we should also try to go ahead and make life easier for them and make the investigative procedure more transparent and more see through, so that the investigation can be carried out in that particular angle, and the success rate of the investigation becomes more. Even when you go ahead and make a complaint in the police station, always make sure that you get a copy of this particular a copy, a duplicate copy or a xerox copy with the sign and seal of that respective police station, because tomorrow you don't want to face an incident which will say that, okay, you have not made any complaint in the police for the purpose of investigation. So as a legal proof, you should always take a duplicate copy with the sign and seal of the respective police personnel in that cyber cell or the local police station. And please submit the copy of this complaint to the respective banks, because it is also mandatory that you make a police complaint and the copy is being submitted to that particular bank. So these are the procedures that you actually need to follow to go ahead and make the complaint. One more interesting thing that I will like to tell you is, do not put only offenses that are limited to the Information Technology Act, because as I mentioned that most of the offenses in the Information Technology Act are bailable, and the fines are not that heavy. So you should put bailable sections that are available in the Indian Penal Code, like section for cheating, section for criminal breach of trust, sections for criminal conspiracy, because all these sections are non-bailable sections. And when you put this non-bailable section, and if the fraudster gets caught, then getting bail for him becomes a difficult procedure. Even in your complaint, if you feel that any particular person might be involved, your friend or someone that you know might be involved in this particular fraud, also mention his name as a suspect. Because when all these procedures are properly provided to the police, then I think the investigation can be approached in a more channelized manner. Now friends, we are already 50 minutes into this webinar, but I would like to tell you, I'm very interested to tell you a very interesting case study. It is very interesting that happened. I hope you are fine with that. So the story goes, or the story happened in the state of Goa. One particular woman made a complaint in that particular police station, saying that her sister is missing. So the police asked her that, whom do you suspect? So this case happened, a lot of years back. So she, when the woman, when the police officer asked this particular woman that whom do you suspect, she took the name of that particular husband of that woman who had disappeared, her sister. She took the name of her husband. Now this case was 2 3 years back, and at that point of time, if any complaint has been raised by any of the relatives or if by woman against her husband or her relative, the police used to immediately arrest. Now, of course, with the new GR posted by the Supreme Court of India, before arresting a person under Section 498 or domestic violence, a preliminary investigation needs to be conducted before the arrest. But unfortunately, that was not the case few years back. So that particular husband was arrested. The person was arrested. He, applied for bail. He got the bail, but as per one of the terms and conditions of this particular bail, he was actually supposed to visit the police station on a particular day and a particular time of a week. So this police officer, I had taken a seminar with him on cyber security and investigation methods and digital evidence. So that is how the police officer knew me. And let me tell you that police definitely have a very good understanding of a psychology of a person. So this particular police was, he made some kind of an emotional bond with that particular person. And looking at his the way he used to present himself in the police, like for example, he used to come every time at the scheduled time and scheduled place. He used to come quietly, make the signature and go off. So somewhere this police officer felt that this person is innocent, and there is something else, that is the matter is something else that needs to be investigated. So this police officer called me. He said that this is the problem. I see this person, he every day he comes on that scheduled date and scheduled time. He makes the signature, and somewhere I feel that this person is innocent, so I need your help. I said, first of all, you have put me in a very difficult spot, because but still I said that I have some background of investigation, so let me help you according to that. And I made or asked my favorite questions. Does she have a mobile phone? Is she using an email address? Does she have a Facebook account? I told the police officer to inquire and investigate whether this woman has all these things. So the police officer called the complainant, the woman who had made this complaint, saying that, does your sister have a mobile phone? So she said that okay, she has a mobile phone, but from the past 2 months that mobile phone is switched off. I said okay, that rules out the possibility. Second question: is she using Facebook, or is she active on WhatsApp? No, the lady said my sister is not using any social media application. She is not on Facebook. She is not on WhatsApp. Third question: does she have an email address? Now, luckily, she said that yes, this woman had an email address. I told that police officer that please get me that email address. In the next 7 to 8 days, the police officer gathered all this information and he came out with the email address. Immediately, we sent an email to the service provider through the police stating that we need the IP address, the login and logout details of this particular email address. When was this last? Accessed, or when was it last used? To our luck, we came to know that this particular email address was operated 4 days back. Immediately we asked for the location using which the IP address is nothing but the place where you log in and log out from. So we got the IP address, we got the details of the place she logged in and logged out from, and a team was sent to Mysore. They found that lady in that particular place, and the lady was brought back to the police station in Goa. Upon interrogating her, this woman came out with the truth, and she said that she had conspired with her elder sister, and she purposely went missing in order to implicate her husband, against whom which a divorce case was going on. I hope that the kind of point I'm trying to make here is understood. I am not saying that you should not be using technology, but हम सब ने एक composition लिखा था, computer as a boon or a curse. So computer is definitely, or internet or technology, if you say, is definitely a boon, but definitely there are certain curses that come with it. And as they say, prevention is always better than cure. So we should always take the preventive steps to protect ourselves. Now, since we are almost coming to the end of this session, let me end by discussing some few tips that will keep you safe in the future times to come. The first thing, now as you know that most of the people are making or using digital wallets for making digital payments. Let me tell you, if now, since most of us are using a smartphone, Once you put in your Gmail account, most of the accounts get synchronized with that particular account. So if you are making an online transaction, first of all, I would suggest that you always use a separate email ID, or firstly, you should always create a separate bank account wherein it will be only used for making digital payments. Please keep very limited the amount on this account. Don't keep more than 3 to 5,000 in that particular account, because God forbid if a cyber fraud happens, the amount that you lose is not huge. Because if the account is your personal account, which has lot of financial, lot of money inside, it might that account might be at risk of getting compromised, and maybe the entire money might be siphoned off. So please use a separate bank account that will be only used for making payments online. Secondly, as I said, as you log on into one application, most of the applications get synchronized. So please use a separate email address. Please use a separate phone number that will be only attached for receiving OTPs and other information that is related to this particular account that you had created. Very interesting part that I'll tell you, that how it becomes very easy for a fraudster to siphon off money from your particular account. So once what happened is, one of my clients received a message on his normal mobile number, saying that his mother has met with an accident. He was staying in one city, he was working in that particular city, and his mother was staying at another place or a different city. So he received a SMS on his phone that his mother has met with an accident and immediately she needs to be operated. What happened is, he tried to call up his relatives and tried to find the truth, but the fraudster pressurized him into giving him asking money, or taking money for the purpose of operation. He also sent him a forged consent form having the name and number of that particular hospital, and the website of that particular hospital was compromised by this fraudster. So even when he tried to get in touch with that particular hospital, it was the fraudster's colleague or the co-fraudster who picked up the call and said that yes, this is genuine, please transfer the money. When he transferred the money, let me tell you that that is when he came to know that this is something that is fraudulent. Because when he tried to even contact his mother, the fraudsters had inserted certain malware into that particular phone of that mother, due to which the phone connection was not working. This is how technologically advanced they are. And the most interesting part is that where did this fraudster get information about his mother, her name and everything? So it was very simple for him. He just logged in into that person's account. He saw a particular post in which his mother was, tagged as, tagged on her particular birthday. He got a lot of information about the mother, because it was also listed as in the relative section of his Facebook profile page. So friends, the kind of point that I'm trying to make here is, you should be very careful about the information that you upload on all these Facebook or all these social media platforms. Because let me tell you that all these platforms that we are using today, they are gathering this information free of charge, and they are making millions out of it by selling this information to people, for the purpose of marketing or for the purpose of advertising their products and their brands. So this information that they are gathering or they are getting, they are absolutely free of charge. Talking about Truecaller, if you see one of the terms and conditions of Truecaller, you will come to know that there are certain terms and conditions that say that you have given access to your folders like your SMS, your call list, your documents. Because when you install this application of Truecaller, you are giving them explicit consent by clicking or ticking on the small thing that comes before you download the app or the or the web application, which says that I have read the terms and conditions and I have accepted the terms and conditions. So by clicking on this particular link, you are giving them explicit permission. Companies or social media platforms or all these e-commerce, if you see the information technology rules 2011, it is very necessary for any e-commerce company to display the name of the grievance officer and display the privacy policy at a very visible place on their website. And friends, let me challenge you. Please come back to me on this after doing some research. Please research the mostly used e-commerce sites or the most famous or branded e-commerce site. You will still not see the name of the grievance officer that is displayed at a very prominent position or a visible position in the website. It shall be given somewhere in the right hand left hand side corner in a very small font. Isn't that the case? Go to most of the e-commerce sites, you will not see the name of the grievance officer displayed at a very visible place. I hope the kind of point I'm trying to make here is very clear. I will never in my life tell you that you should not be using technology. But yes, I would be definitely telling you that you should make use of these platforms very carefully, because you are the custodian of your data. If you cannot take responsibility of your own data, how will you make someone else responsible to secure your data? If you have not employed necessary reasonable security measures, how can you blame someone else? So it first starts with you, isn't it? So just to give you a synopsis of the do's and don'ts. So first thing, you use a separate bank account. Secondly, you keep very limited amount of money in that particular bank account, so that even if the money gets siphoned off, you're not at a huge loss. Use a separate email ID if it has to be linked to any digital wallets. Also use a separate telephone number, because you should always keep your personal and financial information separate. The money that the bank account which has the largest amount of money shall be never used for making online transactions, because you are yourself exposing yourself to risk. Because if you see the guidelines that the bank gives, the bank merely has an obligation of collecting personal information or soft copies of personal information in the form of copies of Aadhaar card, PAN card, light, electricity bill. But there is no provision that says that they should physically verify the authenticity of the person making an account. Nowadays you will also see that lot of there are some banks who have come up by making up by they're offering services like making online accounts. You merely have to upload the information, and that information might be true, might not be true, but the bank does not go ahead and physically verify the information that you give. If you see the statistics on a global level, India ranks fifth when it comes to vulnerability towards credit card frauds. So when such alarming data is presented in front of you, I definitely feel that safety and security becomes prime importance, and something that should be taken very sincerely by the youth and the public of this nation. There are cases like coming to about like cyber security or frauds. A very interesting case that I would like to share in 2 minutes is that one of my clients who was in France. He had come to India on a 3-day work visit. After his 3 day work visit, when he went back to his country, he received a summon or a notice from the Interpol saying that when he was in India, he has purchased an Audi Q7 for an X amount of rupees. My client was worried that how is it possible? I never purchased any Audi. I in fact never even went to the showroom, or even I never checked it on the internet. So somewhere I don't know how he found my number on the internet, and he reached out to me, and he said that Advocate Upadhyay, this is the problem that has happened, and I have never done this. I said okay. So then I started doing the investigation from my using my approach. I asked him to list down the list of places that he visited, a very detailed list. And after studying the list, we pinpointed that he has used a public Wi-Fi somewhere, and in that public Wi-Fi his information was compromised, and all the details about him were taken in terms of his passport copies and everything, and some fraudster created an account on an e-commerce site and defrauded someone. So again, when it comes to one of the do's and don'ts, you should not be using any public Wi-Fi or public access because you are unsure about the security of that particular network. So once again, I would like to say that your security, your safety, it starts with you and it ends with you. So you should always be very responsible and very due diligent in understanding the data that you are sharing or uploading. Before I come to the end of this session, let me make a very humble request to all the ladies who are a part of this webinar. My humble request to every one of you, all the ladies in this webinar, is that even a single incident of harassment, online harassment, should be reported to the respective police station or the cyber cell. Because, girls, you never know what information might be compromised. You don't know what is the psychology of that particular fraudster. Things might get serious, and then you might, feel that the complaint should have been made at the first instance itself. So it is my humble request that take even the most simplest incident very seriously and very due diligently, and kindly make sure that you register an offense, because you never know what might happen in the future. So, saying this, I would like to go ahead and end this webinar, and I would like to thank you for being patient and listening to me and understanding what are the various facets of cyber security and what are the various modus operandi of cyber frauds and cyber scams. So before we end the session, I would also like to go ahead and ask you if you have any questions about cyber fraud, cyber security, and I will be extremely happy to go ahead and answer that for you. So I'll also see some of the live comments that I can see. Someone, Sandhya, has asked me a question that how do trolls and memes, what procedures need to be followed? First of all, if you feel that any troll or any meme is harassing you or it is derogatory about you, as we discussed in our webinar, the first thing that you need to do is go ahead and report this to your, this respective Facebook admin or the Facebook security team, that this thing is derogatory and this should be taken off. Immediately also register a complaint with the cyber cell, so the and get a received copy with the sign and seal of the police station. So these two things are the first primary steps that need to be done. Let me see if there are any other questions. Sushila Bishnoi says, "Sir, this means nothing is safe. Everything is risky. Bank account, Google Pay, Paytm, Phone Pay." Yes, Sushila. Actually, it is risky. See, as I said, there are two sides of the coin. One is, to make the life more simpler and to make life more easy. And otherwise, other side is, someone who will try to take advantage of this information that is being shared. Then yes, nothing is risky. I mean, nothing is safe. Everything is risky. But there are some things that you have to limit yourself doing on all these applications. As I said, when you are using a bank account for making online payment, use a specific bank account which has very limited cash. So even in the future, if any fraud happens, much of money is not at stake. So use everything, but use it with due diligence. But sir, what for them who are providing courses of hacking? See, this is my personal opinion. I don't believe hacking is a very important tool that needs to be taught, because most of the people, if you ask me, why do we take up these cases? People who are taking, they are more interested in how to illegally access the account rather than to save your account from this being hacked. So actually, these courses are teaching out wrong things to people. This is my personal opinion. They may be useful for someone, but I don't think so. What is the maximum imprisonment in an IT Act? So if you see, most of the imprisonments, they are not more than 3 years. For offenses like cyber terrorism and all, there are like heavier punishments, and offenses like child pornography, they have heavier punishments. But other than, most of the punishments are around 3 years, and the fine is not more than 1 lakh rupees. And that too, both are given in the case when a person is a repeat offender. Not for the first offense, such fines are also implied, because to prove a digital crime becomes a herculean task in the court. Because tomorrow, if I submit a copy of a email, the defense counsel might just take an objection that this email is not genuine, or it's not modified, or it's altered or modified. Then again the part comes, so again the process becomes very cumbersome. Okay, sir, I want to ask you what to do when we receive a call from a foreign country for winning lottery. Sandeep Singh, nothing we have to do, just we have to, if the person is calling and you accidentally answer the call, just listen to his scam and disconnect the call. Don't do anything further. You cannot do anything in this. So don't do anything when you receive a call, just ignore the call. And if he's calling you a lot of times, please make a complaint in the police station. Okay, I forgot to answer this during the time of webinar. How to identify fake profiles? Yes, I'm sorry that I forgot this. To address this issue, because a lot of people want to know that how do you identify a fake profile on Facebook. So first of all, if you study the Facebook profile that is fake, so one thing that will be very common, that this profile is been created very newly. It is a recent profile, maybe 5 6 months हो गया वो profile खोल के. Because what these fraudsters do is they use a particular profile for 5 6 months and they discard it, and then they create a new profile. So a fake profile is always a very recently created new profile. Secondly, this fake profile will never have the real picture of a person. In most of the cases, it wouldn't have lot of friends in that particular account. And if you see that whatever postings that they are doing, they are making generalized postings, or they are not posting original pictures or original photos. They are just posting generalized things, and even the likes on these things are not that much. So if you see a normal person's profile, you will see a lot of likes on that particular post or comment that he has posted, because people know him. So in a fake profile, if you see that whatever content that he is posting, first of all, he will not be posting his own picture. He will be posting about generalized things. About He'll be posting something about the government, or he'll be posting something that he feels about. But none of these postings will be, getting that amount of likes. So see how original is the see how old is the profile. See if the profile picture seems to be genuine. See if a lot of people are commenting on this profile. So all these things, you will understand that if the profile is genuine or not. I hope I have answered this question. So Sandeep Singh once again asks me that what to do first when someone blackmails you to use your photo to upload on internet with intimate sense. Okay, okay, with a malicious motive, if that is what you mean. Okay, so if someone is first of all threatening you to do that, give the name, details, and address to the local police station, and they will make sure that he doesn't upload any his own photo also on the internet next time. Okay, so all right. Sonakshi Sirvani asked me, is there any online course for it? Yes, we definitely take up online courses because, friends, let me tell you that India needs around about 10 lakh cyber security professionals. You go to the biggest companies in India and they don't have a proper, certified emergency response team. So definitely there is a dearth of cybersecurity professionals, and in my field, I would proudly say that there is no recession that comes in this field, because irrespective of what your educational qualifications are, maybe you are an engineer, maybe you are a lawyer, maybe you are a commerce graduate, maybe you are an arts graduate, but if you apply for a job and in your resume if you see that okay, I know how to trace digital footprints, I know what are the privacy policies that need to be employed while securing data. What are the techniques that will be used to keep your data safe? Your CV will definitely be given preference, and you will be one of the few selected people whose profile will be highlighted, and maybe your chances for clearing that interview becomes more. So yes, there are online courses. I'm sure Vikas will get back to you with the details of the same. And okay, anything else? No, I don't think so. We have anything else. So once again, I would like to really thank you for spending so much of time. I hope I did not bore you with by
No,
scaring you about all these things. But
no.
again, as I say that being a citizen of India, it is my moral responsibility, and being in this field, it is my responsibility that I appraise you about the real facts and real scenarios that are going on in this today's times. So once again, be due diligent and be cyber safe and be cyber secure. I once again thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I pass it back to Vikas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the informative session. With this, we wrap up this session. I would like to thank Advocate Abhishek Upadhyay, sir, for sparing time out of his busy schedule for this session. With this, we wrap up this session. Thank you for joining this session, all the attendees. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.